Hello friends, I just got off the phone with a potential puppy customer, and it was a very pleasant phone conversation, and I wanted to share that with you. This video is about how we match the potential puppy buyer with one of our puppies. I'm sure you want to know everything going on over here in Vanganta House Kennels, and from us to place one of our puppies, which we love and which we develop with so much care, in your home. We want to know a little bit about you, and you're going to know a little bit about me and our kennel. So where does the conversation begin? Well, the first thing is, I already made a video for what makes a quality puppy and what makes for an ethical breeder, between health testing and temperament testing and breeding working lines versus show lines. I think you have a good understanding of the kind of dogs we produce. We produce European working dogs with a stable temperament that a child can hug but a burglar can run away from. We want a dog which is sweet and has good working ability at the same time. We don't want a dog which is all work, and can be, but we want a dog which is a family friend also, because dogs are not meant to work only, they're meant to be family pets, and because it's a social animal, and we want families which will take our puppies and raise them and give them the best possible life. So what is it that we're looking for in our initial 45-minute conversation we will have with you, our prospective puppy buyer? Well, the first thing I want to know is your real estate footprint. Are you living on 6 acres in Florida and you're 70 years old and you're retired and you don't have any cats, you don't have any kids, all your kids are grown up and living on their own, and you just want a companion? Or are you a young family in their 30s with an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old? The conversation I'm going to have with a young family with that living situation versus the conversation I'm going to have with a family which is a 70-year-old man with his 65-year-old wife is a very different conversation. And even though the dogs are the same from the same parents, the living situation is totally different between this household and this household. And the puppy I would place here would be a laid-back, I'm chill and I'm relaxed type of puppy. And over here I would put a more energetic puppy, which is very gregarious and very bouncy and has a lot of energy, because the family has a high degree of energy. So in understanding your household, I know more about what works for you. One of the questions I'll ask you is about your schedule. If you work 9 to 5, a lot of people after the pandemic no longer work from home. They now work back in the office because companies are paying big fees for the buildings they're in. They're renting office space at high commercial rates, and they're putting their workers back in those buildings. So people are not working from home as much as they did during the pandemic. So the question will become, well, if you have a 9 to 5 schedule and you work a lot, who will take the puppy outside and give it bathroom breaks and take it for a walk? If you have teenage kids, age 13 to 19, let's say, teenager is perfectly acceptable to walk a dog and take a puppy outside. Maybe you can hire a caregiver, a pet sitter, to take the puppy out while you're at work. These are things you have to think about, because your work schedule demands a lot out of you. That's how you put bread on the table for your family. And but you have to make accommodations for how you raise a puppy, and will you crate train a puppy or not? I believe in crate training is a very effective mechanism for housebreaking, also for a dog to travel safely in a car. Crate training definitely helps. So what do you feel about crate training? Who will be the primary caregiver for this puppy? What are your goals for this puppy? You're buying a German Shepherd. You're in our channel, so you must love German Shepherds. That's why you're in our channel. What are your goals for this puppy? Are you going to enroll in the AKC puppy class? Are you going to do a Canine Good Citizen test at the very minimum with this dog? You're buying a smart breed. You're buying a German Shepherd. So what are your plans for this dog? Do you want to work in Schutzhund or PSA? Schutzhund is now called IGP, as I'm sure many of you know. So is that your goal for the puppy? That would be great. We love working homes for our puppies. Not every puppy buyer will be a working home. We also sell puppies to pet homes. But we want to make sure that the puppy you get will be a good match for you and your family. Now the puppy you get will be very different depending on what you're looking for. I raise these puppies and I hand rear them, and I get to know each puppy as an individual from the time they're born to the time they leave to their new homes. I know a lot about their personality and personality differences, and they are individuals. Even though from the same parents, they are very much individuals. In fact, the same female as the mother, when paired with a different sire, can produce vastly different very different puppies depending on who the sire is. With one sire, she could produce very high energy, very good sport dogs. With another sire, she might produce very good family dogs. Same female, but two different sires can have very different results in the litter you have in the same breedership. So partially the parents we pick will determine the temperament, but partially we will match you with the right puppy. So what kind of personality types do I see in puppies? Well, you might have the puppy which is the social butterfly. You know, it comes out, very happy puppy, comes out, it's at 6 weeks of age. Now it's old enough to walk around outdoors, and it sees a butterfly, it sees a bee, it sees a frog, and it's like, oh look, there's a butterfly, oh look, there's a tadpole. And that puppy goes out in the world and explores and is very curious, and that's one personality type, and that's a very nice personality. A very curious puppy is an intelligent puppy. Another puppy may be the Velcro puppy. It might be, Daddy, I'm staying right next to you. I'm not going anywhere. I like what I see, but I'm standing next to you because I love you. I like the Velcro puppy. Another puppy may be the very independent puppy, which doesn't need much human companionship or dog companionship, just wants to do its own thing and be on its own. We don't often have dogs like that. Those type of dogs make good border patrol dogs and sentry dogs, but we don't often produce dogs of that caliber. But there are dogs which have that personality. Another puppy may be a very good working prospect. Work, 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 work. And the puppy's all about having fulfillment through drive satisfaction. That puppy wants to work and constantly needs a job. That's a puppy that might go to a trainer, which is looking for a Schutzhund dog. We might have a very laid-back puppy, which might give to an older person who requires a less energetic puppy. So I very much know my puppies. I know their personality type. We have puppy buyers from our previous litters that rave about our puppies. They are enamored with these puppies. And we are a small breedership. We don't have a lot of breeders very often. It takes time for a female to come into heat. Heats are somewhat unpredictable. They're not precisely on time. We encourage you to go to our website. A link will appear below. Fill out a puppy reservation form. Let's get to know each other. And then we wait for the female to come into heat, and you will get very high quality puppies from some of the finest kennels in Europe brought over to the US. So to reiterate, we want to know your housing situation. Are you a tenant, which requires permission from your landlord to have a dog, or do you have your own home? Do you have your own backyard? Do you have the time to devote to a dog? Do you understand that dog is a lifetime commitment, not something to be taken as a child's toy during Christmas shopping and then disposed of a year later? We want people who will buy dogs for life and give that dog a home for the rest of its natural life. We want people who will attempt to train the dog. It's a large breed, and it requires a person who will put time and effort into training this dog. These dogs come from a very fine bloodline where their obedience was tested through Schutzhund titles, and that means they're genetically predisposed toward a high degree of training. We hope you develop them in that way. We certainly hope you attend at least an AKC puppy class. If you don't know how to train yourself, there's many websites I can recommend to you that offer puppy DVDs and videos, and you can leverage that information. We offer board and train ourselves for some of our puppies if that's the route you want to take. But the bottom line is we encourage you to train your dog, because a trained dog is a happy dog. What are the components of puppy training? ABT, always be training. So we want you to visit our website, vangantahaus.com, H-A-U-S, the German spelling of house, not the English spelling of house, vangantahaus.com. We want to learn about you. We want to learn what you want in a dog, why you particularly want a German Shepherd. Do you want a protection breed, or any dog will do? We have to explain to you that genetics plays a large role in predisposition of behavior, and how you train a German Shepherd may not be the same way you train a Labrador Retriever. Although 99% of the training is the same across all dogs, but there are certain breed predispositions which you must take into account in training your dog. If you're buying a Husky and you want it to be a protection dog, that's not going to work. So you have to understand how genetics and breed and temperament have a role in forming your puppy's behavior as part of their behavioral traits. I encourage you to visit our website. I encourage you to learn a bit about the difference between working line and show line German Shepherds. We sell working lines, West German working lines, and I encourage you to ask a lot of questions, but I would like to know you as you would like to know us, because we're putting precious puppies in your hands and we want you to be successful as the new future puppy owner. Take care, and I'll see you soon.